Last week, I was heartbroken to learn that a dear friend and great fighter for freedom, Vladimir Kara-Murza, has been hospitalized in Moscow. Those of us who know the work of this brave Russian patriot could not afford to hope or assume that he was suffering some ordinary illness. Just 2 years ago, under mysterious circumstances, Vladimir grew very ill and fell into a coma. Many suspected he was poisoned to intimidate him or worse. That's why last week's news signaled another shadowy strike against a brilliant voice who has defied the tyranny of Putin's Russia. Vladimir also learned what it takes to be a revolutionary from our mutual friend Boris Nemtsov. Vladimir and Boris struggled together for years in the cause of freedom and democracy. Vladimir once called Boris the best president Russia never had. Boris was one of the first to warn of the incoming Putin dictatorship, even when many of his fellow liberals could not see it. He told the truth about Putin's reign of terror, rampant corruption, and his illegal invasion of Ukraine. And for the crime of telling the truth in Putin's Russia, Boris Nemtsov was murdered in the shadow of the Kremlin in 2015. He died a martyr. He died a martyr. Died a martyr for the rights of people who were taught to hate him, but who will one day mourn his death, revere his memory, and despise his murderers. After Boris's assassination, many urged Vladimir not to return to Russia. And he had every reason not to. He knew his own family's history with tyranny. He knew what happened to Boris Nemtsov, and he knew all too well about the culture of impunity that Putin has created in Russia, where individuals are routinely persecuted and attacked for their beliefs, including by the Russian government, and no one is ever held responsible. Knowing all this, knowing that his life was at risk, Vladimir returned to Russia. He continued to speak truth to power. He kept faith with his ideals in confrontation with a cruel and dangerous autocracy. He kept faith honorably and bravely with the example of his friend and comrade Boris Nemtsov. Now it appears that Vladimir has once again paid the price for his gallantry and integrity, for placing the interests of the Russian people before his own self-interest. He's very ill. I'm encouraged to learn his condition is now stable. So today, speaking for so many Americans, I offer my most heartfelt prayers for the recovery of Vladimir Kara-Murza and the success of the cause to which he has dedicated his life, truth and justice.